Chai. Nah, eh. Sure you know say if not before that Awolowo, we for don't get our own country. Yoruba people and sabotage. Na 5 and 6. Nah, true, my brother. Those coward people, all they know how to do. Nah, cho. That man Awolowo, now he supervise how 1 million of our people, how they take kill them. Now he supervise them now. No be 1 million, no. How you go talk say na 1 million? Na 3 million. What do they talk safe? My papa tell me say na 5 million. No. My papa even tell me say that yeye man, he gave them 20 pounds after their war. After they already stole all our million pounds waiting for Nigeria Bank. At the end of the war, they can't give us only 20 pounds. Even with the 20 pounds where Awolowo will give us for that year. See where we are today now. See where we did. We started from scratch. They took all our father's money. All the money we they get for bank. They take them. They give them back only 20 pounds. See where we are now. From 20 pounds, we don't become richest people in the world.
Now we don't know, brothers. My name na Ade. I hear everything when they talk. Me as a proper Yoruba, I pity you now. Chai, they killed 5 million of your people. That is bad. I am sorry for that. They even give you 20 pounds. Let me thief oh.
Now your brother now, Abi. Awolowo no be your brother again. Shebi Awolowo na your brother. Awolowo no be your brother. No be your people commit crime against humanity. Abi waiting a day. Abi waiting. I beg me no make I bite my tongue. Waiting you they tell me safe.
Now why I talk say I am sorry now. I pity you now. Our people are stupid. Why a reasonable person to support that kind hunger policy? Our Yoruba leaders sometimes don't get sense self.
Abeg pack well. You people buy yours started now. You buy yours plenty. Even till today you still dey do am. You're still doing it. Wetin we buy for una market safe? You people be coward o.
My brother. Which people are you referring to now? See, I am Yoruba, but I am not like them. I am a different Yoruba, my brother.
You are different, true. But they talk say, now your, I beg talk to your people. I do what I go take talk. Talk to your people now. How I wish you people, all the Yoruba people can also be like you.
Hello, I greet you. Welcome. Can you believe Awolowo suggested a policy to the government during the Civil War that killed 5 million of their people back then during the war? He even stole all their money in the bank and decided to just give them ordinary 20 pounds after the war. You can hear they killed their people back then and they are still prosecuting them till today. Who killed their people? And who stole and gave them 20 pounds? I thought they said that it is our Yoruba people that did all that. Our people are wicked. Why would someone be that wicked to arrest? Awolowo not try, you not try at all. Can you please let me talk and stop interrupting me?
What do you have to say? You not go listen to your brother.
Listen to what? To false narrative? No. I can't listen to a mere propaganda and blackmail. Everything you said about the Civil War is not true according to history. And it is not my father or my uncle told me kind of a talk. So bring your fact. And please, next time, don't spread fake information as that can lead to you. Do you know who I am? I am Yoruba Prince from this town. You can't just come here to start fighting for we Yorubas because we don't send you. And you can't be more Yoruba than me. These people's account is right. And stop trying to be smart. You can't just come here from your village in Oshun, wherever you come from, and start saying what you are saying. Go back to your village and spit that rubbish you are speaking.
Now only Ade be the real Yoruba for here. Now only Ade be the real Yoruba here. Yoruba are known to be intellectual, civilized, and accommodate. But this one na Oshu guy. We no get sense at all.
Don't mind him, Jare. He's a tribalist.
And who told you guys I am from Osun? Anyways, where I am from doesn't matter in this conversation. What matters is that I am Yoruba. And according to some of the generals that fought in the war, they wrote a book. People like Alabi.
Oga Begi, shut up! Shut up, Ujare, shut up! Ah! Yeah!
As I was saying, according to the book written by some generals that fought during the war and some other historians, what they said is different from the propaganda you guys are discussing here today.
Which is a history book and account? So you mean say my papa they lie? My papa they lie give me?
All your allegations against the sage, the great Awolowo, they are all lies and just name smearing, nothing else.
Which sage? Which sage I beg you? Person we don't die, person we don't look like now you dey defend like this. Eh? Even Awolowo no go agree with us in he cause all this debt of more than 6 million Biafrans and stole our money.
Ah, bàbá o, akíkanjú ọkùnrin, aláàánú àwa Yorùbá, ọmọ òbùkún àlàsà, àsìn aṣọ bí ẹni sí ẹkẹ, ọmọ asínde mágbòjá, àfìwà fẹ́kù joyè. Bàbá o, ṣe bẹ́yìn lọmọ ìkẹ́ni erékè ibi owó gbé so, ọmọ ládò òyewó, òyewó sílé, òye òkúta síta, ìbà ló sí ìbà nílé, ìbà lóko, ìbà ní bàbá ìlérè ọjà, ìbà ní mégún wọlé rẹ́mọ, ká tó rẹ́rìn ó digbó, ká tó rí ẹ̀fọ́ ó di ọ̀dán, ká tó rẹ́yẹ bí ọ̀kì ó di gbére. Bàbá mi Jeremiah Awólọ́wọ̀, ọmọ ẹ̀fún yẹlà, bàbá ẹ bójú wọlé, ẹ jẹ́ mi, èyí ọmọ yín ni mò ń pè yín. Bàbá mi ẹ sọ̀kalẹ̀ wá, bàbá mi, ẹ dákun ẹ wá, bàbá ẹ wá, àfẹ́rẹ́ yín.
Pè mí ní kíkan, pè mí ní mẹ́sàn-án mẹ́wàá. Why have you called on me?
Bàbá mi, ẹ ṣeun tẹ́ ẹ jẹ́ mi. Bàbá ẹ ṣeun. Àwọn kan ti fẹ́ ta ikọ̀ sálà bàbá. Wọ́n ti fẹ́ sọlé ọlága wúrò. Wọ́n ti pa oríṣiríṣi irọ́ fún ara wọn. Kódà, wọ́n ti pa fún àwọn ọmọ Yorùbá ìwòyí o.
Ọmọ mi Wálé, you must not be surprised. Even when I was amongst the same thing that is happening now was always happening. And my general outlook is that of an indifferent. Therefore, you must be aware that my nickname was Ebu Dollar. That was not a coincidence. In fact, I decided to take that on when there were lots and lots of castigation, blackmail, and campaign color were the order of the day in our times.
But Baba, these people will not stop. They are misleading the masses and the youth out there with propaganda and fake informations.
Wale, I would want you to tell me the specifics of what they are saying now that I have done.
Baba, I was just telling this my friend what my father told me. My father told me that now your stand during the war, now he helped shorten the war. Say you starve our people, which led to the death of more than 6 million Igbos. Also, that you changed the currency and later give our people only 20 pounds.
There were people who were hell-bent on denigrating my person. And that was about the only way to maintain their popularity and political relevance. I have learned to rely completely on the providence and vindication of Almighty God in some of these things. On several occasions in the past, I have explained myself very clearly and unequivocally. Unfortunately, these lies persist. I am glad that you are doing what you are supposed to do, which is to educate your fellow brothers and sisters. I know that someday, maybe the majority of Igbos, the masses of the Igbo people, will realize who their friends are and who their real enemies are, if they would have the courage to admit this. During the war, I saw to it that the revenue which was due to the Igbo land was kept for them, even though they are fighting war against the Nigerian state. I saved the money for them. And when the war ended, I handed over the money to them, millions. If I had decided to do so, I could have kept the money away from the Igbos, but I saw to it that subvention was given to them at the rate of £990,000 every month. That is about £1 million every month. I did not go to the Executive Council to ask for support or to seek for their approval, because I knew if I went to the Executive Council, the subvention would not be approved, because there were more enemies in the Executive Council than friends. And those enemies, if you ask them, they have their reasons. Already, the Igbo people have declared war against the Nigerian state. And since I wasn't going to take a percentage from what I was going to give them, and I knew I was doing what was right, not only what was right to mankind, but what was right for my personal principle and my conscience, I wanted the state to survive. I kept on giving the subvention every month, and I did that for other states too, of course. And when the war was over, I saw to it that the ACB, African Continental Bank, got £3.5 million to start with. In case you don't know, ACB former owner was the defunct Eastern Region. The general attitude of experts and officials at the time was that ACB should be closed down, and I held the view you couldn't close the ACB down, because that is the bank that gives finance to the Igbo traders, and if you close it down, they will find it very difficult to revive or to survive. I did the same thing for the Cooperative Bank of Eastern Nigeria to rehabilitate all these places, and I saw to it as Commissioner for Finance that no obstacle whatsoever was placed in the way of the Ministry of Economic Planning in planning for rehabilitation of the post-war affected areas. On the case of the money they said was not given back to them. You know, during the war, all the pounds were looted and they printed Biafran currency notes, which they circulated. And when the war was over, some people wanted to exchange their Biafran currency for the pounds. Of course, I couldn't do that. If I did that, the whole country would be bankrupt. We didn't know about Biafran notes, and we didn't know on what basis they have printed them, so we refused the Biafran note. But I laid down the principle that all those who had savings in the banks on the eve of the declaration of the Biafran War will get their money if they could satisfy us that they had the savings in those accounts or the money there. Unfortunately, all the bank books had been burnt, and many of the people who had savings did not have their saving books or their passbooks or their last statement of account. So a panel had to be set up. I did not take part in setting up the panel. It was done by the central bank and the pertinent officials of the Ministry of Finance to look into the matter, and they went carefully into the matter. They took some months to do so, and they make some recommendation which I approved. And if you go to the archives, all I did was to approve. I do not remember the names of any of them who took part. So I did everything in this world humanly possible to assist our Igbo brothers and sisters during and after the war. And anyone who goes back to look at my broadcast in August 1967, which dealt extensively with post-war reconstruction, would see what I said there. Above all, the ending of the war itself, that I am often accused of starving the Igbos, I did nothing of the sort. You know, shortly after the liberation of places like Calabar, Enugu, and Port Harcourt, I decided to personally pay a visit. I wanted to be there and see things for myself. Bear in mind that Gowon himself did not go to visit the eastern region. It was after the war that he was able to visit these places. But I went, and some people tried to frighten me and discourage me. Nonetheless, I visited to see things for myself. And when I got to these places, what did I see? I saw the Kwashiorkor victims. If you see a Kwashiorkor victim, you will never like war to be waged. Very terrible sight in Enugu, in Port Harcourt, not so much in Calabar. But mainly in Enugu and Port Harcourt. Then I inquired what happened to the food we were sending to the civilians. We were sending food through the Red Cross and other means. But what happened was that the vehicles carrying the foods were always being ambushed by the Biafra soldiers. That was what I discovered. And the food that was meant for the people and the children and the civilians would then be taken to the soldiers to feed themselves. And so they were able to continue to prosecute the war. And I said that was a very dangerous policy. We did not intend the food for soldiers. Ojukwu should be able to provide for his soldiers. But who will go behind the battle line to stop the soldiers from ambushing the vehicles that were carrying the food? And as long as soldiers were fed, the war continued. And who will continue to suffer? The people, of course, the Igbos, the children, the mothers, and the civilians. And those who did not go to the place to see things as I did. You remember that all the big guns, all the soldiers in the Biafra army looked all well fed after the war. It was only the masses of their people that suffered kwashiorkor. You will never hear of a single Biafran lawyer or doctor or architect or the people that belonged in the Biafran elite class who suffered from kwashiorkor. None of their children, including Ojukwu himself. They were well fed and they were looking very robust. So they waylaid the foods, they ambushed the vehicles and took the foods to their friends and to their cronies, their collaborators, and to their children. And the masses were left suffering. But the Nigeria side had to be blamed for that. So I decided to stop sending the food there. In the process, the civilians would suffer, but the soldiers would suffer the most. And I hoped that they were going to have quick ceasefire. And it is on record that Ojukwu admitted that two things defeated him in this war. He said, one, the change of currency. He said that was the first thing that defeated him. And we did that to prevent Ojukwu taking the money which his soldiers had stolen from our central bank for sale abroad to buy arms. We also discovered he looted our central bank in Benin. He looted the one in Port Harcourt. He looted the one in Calabar. And he was taking the currency notes abroad to sell to earn foreign exchange, to buy arms and ammunition. So I decided to change the currency, and for your benefit, it can now be told to the whole world. Only Gowon knew the day before. I decided only 3 of us knew before then. Isong, who later became the governor of Cross River State, Atta, and myself. It was a closely guarded secret. If any commissioner at the time said that he knew about it, he is only boasting his own ego. Because once you tell someone, he will tell another person. So we refuse to tell anyone about the currency change. So Ojukwu said the change in currency defeated him, and starvation of his soldiers also defeated him. These were the two things that defeated Ojukwu, and he reminds me, when you saw Ojukwu picture after the war, did Ojukwu look like someone who was not well fed? But he has been taking the food which we sent to civilians, and so we had to stop that. And finally, I saw to it that the houses owned by the Igbos in Lagos and on the western side of Nigeria were kept for them. I had an estate agent friend who told me that one of them collected £500,000 in rent, which was kept for them. All his rent were collected, but since we did not seize their houses, he came back and collected £500,000 in rent. Such was not done to the Igbos elsewhere in this country. Such was my generosity and the generosity and kindness of our people towards the Igbos. So, that is the position. I am a friend of the Igbos, and the mass of the Igbos are my friends. But there are certain elements who continued to deceive the Igbos by telling lies against my person. And one day, I hope, they will discover, and then they will be terribly sorry for those who have been telling them lies.
Bàbá mi, thank you so much, sir. Ẹ ṣeun. Mo wá fi dá yín lójú. Mo ṣèlérí fún yín wípé ọmọlúàbí ni màá máa jẹ́ lọ́jọ́kọ́jọ́. And I will always defend Yorùbá heritage. Ẹ ṣeun bàbá.
Ọmọ mi Wálé, ó kárí o. Ó kú iṣẹ́ takuntakun. Elédùmarè á túbọ̀ máa bá mi wà pẹ̀lú ẹ. I hope you now understand. Ó dàbọ̀, ó dìgbà, ó kárí.
Ẹlẹ́gbọ̀n, ẹ̀gbọ́n mi, ẹ má bínú sí mi, ẹ má bínú. Ọrùn mi ti wọ́, mi tí ẹ lè sọ̀rọ̀ dáadáa mọ́. Ẹ má bínú ẹ jọ̀ọ́. Ṣé mo wọ́n kọ́ wa ní school ìgbà tá a wà ní school? Wọ́n kọ́ wa ní gbogbo eléyìí. Ẹ má bínú ẹ̀gbọ́n mi, bàbá mi. Ẹ jẹ́ ẹ̀jẹ̀ ìbùrẹ́. Ẹ jẹ́ ẹ̀gbọ́n mi. Ẹ jọ̀ọ́ ṣé mo lè wá take history class lọ́dọ̀ yín sàn? Adé, ó dára bẹ́ẹ̀. But I will first recommend some books for you to read. How about that? Okay, sir. Ẹ̀gbọ́n mi o, ìgbà yín o, ìgbà ni mo ṣe fẹ́ yan àgbààgbà o. Ẹ ṣé gan-an ni ẹ̀gbọ́n mi, ẹ ṣé gan-an ni mo dúpẹ́.